Welcome to a journey into yoga. I'm Susan Rubenstein. Thank you for joining me today as we explore this beautiful art of yoga. So this series, there will be two parts. So for this first part, called part one, we will be exploring a yoga practice that gives us the ability to work from the ground up. We'll begin on our back. We'll begin with some gentle stretches, moving into our hips, eventually coming up to do some seated poses. This is a friendly yoga practice that I invite you all to enjoy. It's a great way to learn some of the asanas or yoga poses that we explore doing yoga. And it's a nice way to learn about building a practice. So the important thing as we come together is that if you haven't experienced yoga before, you might want to just sit and watch this show and then join us at a later date. It's also important to rule out any health concerns that you or your doctor may have. So a conversation is always a great idea at your next physical or just to give them a call. So as you can see, here I am. I'm on the floor. I brought along with me a blanket, which you'll see my head on, and at one point I'll be sitting on. I have a nice yoga mat. It's a sticky mat, so that way you're not sliding around. And I'm dressed comfortably because you want to be able to move and not feel confined in your clothing where you feel like that's not giving you the ability to stretch as far as you would like to. And the important thing is to listen to your body. Do the stretches and the poses that feel good. Listen to the cueing of the breath work. Understand your body, how it moves. Pay attention to those concerns, and we'll try to work around them to create a healthy and stronger you. So yoga, just a little explanation, yoga meaning yoke or union, connects the body, mind, and breath. So it's a wonderful way to take good care of yourself. So through this practice in part one, we're going to begin lying down. So I'd love you to join me. So we're going to take ourselves all the way down onto our blanket, or even a pillow if you like to have your head up, or flat to the floor. Rest your head. So the upper rim of your shoulders should rest along the edge of your blanket. Let's take the legs and relax them. Legs straight out or knees bent, arms resting by your side. Take a moment to just settle in, closing your eyes and connecting with you. So try to forget about wherever you are in your day's journey. Try not to think about any sounds that could distract you. Try to have your phone turned off or silenced. And try just to focus right now on you and how you're feeling right now at this moment. Notice your feet. Notice your knees. Notice your hips. Notice your back. Notice your shoulders. Notice your arms, your elbows, your hands. Observing ourselves in stillness is a great way to work on self-care. So let's take a moment now to incorporate our breathing. Let's just breathe normally, but I'd like you just to pay attention to your breath. Pay attention to how it sounds and pay attention to how it feels. Once you've begun to notice how it sounds, use that as a way to keep your mind present. Once you've begun to notice how it feels, use it as a way to gauge how you're going to move in and out of the poses. So let's begin by using a simple grounding breath. We're going to breathe in through the nose. We're going to breathe out of the mouth. Again, we breathe in through the nose. Out of the mouth. In through the nose. And out of the mouth. So just by creating that simple breath work, you begin to notice in those few seconds how you might have started to feel a little bit more relaxed, less distracted, less of a desire to fidget and move. So we're going to incorporate, and you'll hear me from time to time, to remind you when the breathing is important. I want you to breathe all the way through, never holding that breath. But I'll be there to guide you and just gently tap you on the shoulder to remind you to breathe. Let's start with some soft movements. We're going to inhale the arms up, taking them up above the chest or even above the shoulders. Softly open your eyes, and then exhale. Let your palms press down by your side. Again, a slow inhale. And a slow exhale. So as you can see, we're just moving the body, the arms, with our breath. It's so nice to start to make that connection. Let's do that a couple more times. Breathing in. And out. And in again. And out. Good. So now relax your arms. Gently move your head from one side to the other. And then take another deep breath in. Reach the arms overhead. This time I invite you to bring your right knee into your chest. As you do, hug the knee in for a moment. Feel the spine awaken. Inhale, let go. Extend the arms back. Exhale, the left side journeys in. Let's repeat that again. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhaling. One more time, let's take a deep breath in. And then invite your right knee to come into your chest. Lace your fingers below the kneecap. Softly bringing the knee in, the thigh in towards your ribs. Circle around through your ankle. It's important to keep movement flowing and fluids flowing through the joints. And that's what movement does. It helps the fluids wash through the joints so the joints release that stiffness that we feel. Good. Now I'm going to ask you to take your right leg up. Flex your foot. Press the leg out into your hands. The hands are clasped behind your thigh now. Stretching through the heel, down the back of the knee, right along the hamstring into the sits bone, right at the base of the buttocks. Let's slide the left foot in. So now the right ankle is going to hang around the edge of the left knee. We're going to drop the knees over to the right side. Now I love this one. The knees are going to stay right. I'm going to let my left arm stretch out across the floor. I can keep that arm straight out from the shoulder or slide it up a little bit to stretch out more through the chest. So if you think about your chest, it wraps right underneath your armpit. So this is a really nice stretch that I enjoy doing. And then you can just place your right hand against your right inner thigh. So we're opening up through this left side. We're feeling spacious. Now we're going to return center and start to incorporate hip opening and seat opening. So we keep the cross, we turn the knee out, lift your left foot. Now slide your hands behind your left thigh. Let your fingers clasp. Keep your head and your shoulders down and relaxed. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. So today, see if you can breathe in through your nose and softly out of your mouth as we work through a more grounding breath. Try to feel your belly move with each inhale, and then gently squeezing that breath out as you exhale. Imagine it just taking what you no longer need to hold on to, any stress or distraction or tension. So let's hold this for just a few more moments. I really like this one. It stretches through the seat to the hip, and I also feel a nice little stretch through my knee. And if we think about how we're always moving and going, how nice it is just to pause, just to feel connected and stretch out. So now we're going to release the foot down, the left foot. We're going to return back to the right side. So sometimes repeating a pose a second time, you can go just a little deeper. So you might feel more spacious through this left side. Can we extend that left arm out and maybe up a little bit higher with keeping the hand down? It's all about self-discovery. So this practice is really nice for those of us that need something a little gentler, or are learning the practice, or just don't really feel like having a standing practice. Not every day do we feel like standing and doing something with our body. Sometimes we just need to be a little bit more grounded and centered. So with that feeling of being centered, we can connect with ourselves and our busy lives that are always swirling around us, pulling us in different directions. So let's come back through center. Now, uncross, and then I'm going to ask you to scoop your knees up into your chest. Now, we're just going to gently circle around your sacrum, your tailbone, your lower back. This feels really good. And then go in the other direction. And then let's just straddle the knees out for a moment. Flex the feet. This feels really good to stretch those inner thighs, the hips. Can even just catch the outer edges of the knees and then straighten and bend the legs. This is good to get the fluid again, as we talked about, moving through the joints. So let's think about how good this is for our knees. Now we're going to take those feet back to the floor. This time, we're going to take the left ankle to the outside of the right knee, and this time over to the left we go. Let's slide the right arm out or bring it up a little bit. I usually like to just turn my head slightly away from the arm that's extended out. Gives me a little bit more of a neck stretch here. And just return to your breath. What does your breath sound like? Sometimes we can equate it to a certain sound that we enjoy. I love the sound of the ocean, the waves. As that inhale, as the waves come moving rapidly up onto the shore, crashing, and then that exhale, everything becomes smooth, silent, and calm. You might even hear the sound of the wind in your own breath. Good. Let's take this through center. Take the leg up, opening through your hip, flexing through your foot. You should feel really good. Each side you'll notice different sensations. We hold tightness. You might even notice that if you try to balance on one foot. One side may be a little bit easier than the other. That's natural for most of us. Let your breath flow, moving around the hip socket. And then as your hands float away, let's take the leg up. Nice little stretch here. Move around to your ankle if it feels stiff. So if you notice in just these last several moments, how we're even starting to feel more connected, we're feeling better in our own bodies. And then let's take that final cross one more time. Drop it over. Slide the arm out. Take a little stretch here. Work your way back through center and then release. So now let's just take the knees back and forth. This is a nice way to break up congestion. And if you want to go a little bit deeper, let's take your arms out to a T, lift your feet, and then drop the knees side to side. So a little bit deeper, more of an intense way to release the back. So decide what works for you. So I'm going to have you drop the knees stacked together to your right side. Palms are open. So the knees are stacked. What about taking that top leg and extending it out? So there's a little gap between the top and bottom knee. Flex through the foot. Notice now that outer casing from the hip down to the outside of the knee. Stretch open the IT band. This is one of my favorites. You can take it a little bit further into the stretch, maybe even taking hold of the foot. And then again, it wraps around into the seat. So every time you come into a stretch and we hold it for a handful of breaths, it really gives our bodies an opportunity to really respond to that stretch. Because then as we slowly come out of it, we feel that aha feeling, that sense of releasing. Let's take the knees over to the other side. Same thing. Take that leg out or keep the knees stacked, whatever works for you. Pressing out long. Maybe even reaching for the foot, going a little bit deeper. Don't force. Just gently assist. Assist yourself through these stretches. And one more time, we breathe in. We breathe out. Bend the knees and release the feet. So before we come up to do some seated work, let's just take the feet about hip width apart. Now this is one of my favorites, just a nice fluid bridge. We're going to incorporate those arms again. So watch first. Inhale, arms up. You can just turn your head and look towards the screen. Exhale, when your arms come down, we're going to gently tilt the pelvis and lift the seat. As the seat comes up, we notice we have the assist of the seat and the hamstrings. Belly is nice and smooth. Thighs are reaching towards the knees. Delicately lower down, inhaling, carrying the arms back overhead. Exhale, press down and come up. So we root down through the feet, lift through the hips. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. One more time, taking a deep, deep breath in. Arms come down as we exhale. Can we stay here just for a moment, right? So we're just warming up. Another great way to build into bridge is just to slide your hands underneath your seat and then have it elevated just a few inches off the floor with the support of your hands. So you're starting that gentle bridge. Sometimes you can make a fist. You can even slide what we use in yoga blocks. That gives you about height of this. Or you can just lift your own body up. So this is great to really open things up that get tight. This is a nice belly stretch. When I teach strengthening classes or ab workouts, I really like to do this stretch with my students or my clients to open up their abdominals, get a good stretch going. Let's take it down and drop the knees. So you can see yoga is very friendly, can be very kind. You can make it power and active and strong and learn how to really twist and turn your body into all kinds of shapes. But for most of us, we're really looking for something that's just going to make us feel good. All right, I'm going to have you roll to your side. We're all going to come up to seated. So now I've been using this blanket to rest my head on, which felt really good for my neck, because sometimes my neck gets a little tense. So now I'm going to use it for my hips. So if your hips are tight, just make sure the blanket's folded. Just like we brought the rim of our shoulders to the edge of the blanket, we're going to bring the rim of our seat and then slide those legs out. So I don't know if you can see, now I'm a little bit more upright, more balanced. Sometimes if the blanket's not there, we have a tendency to sit like this because our hips are tight, our back is tight, but this way, we really can sit into our body, use those sits bones. Now, let's take the arms up, take a deep breath. Exhale, press behind, hinge gently forward, chin slightly into the chest, palms reach back. Let's do that again. Inhale to come up. Exhale, belly comes in. We hinge forward. We're going to do this twice more. Inhale to come up. Exhaling. One more time. We take a giant breath in. Now this time, slide your right foot in. I'm going to turn towards my right leg, wrapping my left arm around it, hugging the knee in. Slide the hand behind and sit up nice and tall and breathe. So relax the shoulders. Think about how you're broadening through the collarbones. So the nice thing about yoga is one pose can gently flow into the next. So here's another stretch that I like to do, similar to the one we just did lying down. Extend the leg, cross it a little bit. Notice that same opening, but we're up now, strong through the core. Extend the arm back, right? Doesn't that feel good? If you feel like you're a little wobbly, just root your fingers down in what we call potted palm. That's a great pose through the fingers to strengthen those fingers, and then come up. Now when it comes through center, reach behind the bottom of my foot or the back of my leg. Don't worry if your leg's not perfectly straight. We're not looking for that. We're looking for space. Just try to sit up nice and tall through the spine, reaching through the bottom of the foot, breathing in and breathing out. Now let's bend the knee, turning the knee out so that the bottom of the foot presses against the inside of your left leg. Let's slowly take a walk down this left leg. So we might be here. This might be perfect for our spine. We might be able to come a little bit lower or stretch out towards our foot. So whatever pose you're in, think about lengthening your spine instead of creating that flexion of the spine. So can we elongate? Can we draw the abdominal muscles back? Drop the shoulders down. So this feels good, right? Let's open through rotation. This is another great one to do. And then just relax the head and neck. Come back around through center. Take that final stretch. If you want to go a little deeper, rotate the other way. See how that feels. Come up through center, take a deep breath in, slide both legs out, and then release. All right, left leg comes in, wrap around to twist. Sitting up nice and tall, not only broadening through your collarbones, but through your backbones. Adding that opportunity of taking a nice long stretch. This is probably one of my favorite yoga stretches. I do this every single day. It feels so good. I feel like I'm releasing tension in my back, stretching the outside of my leg. And it's good to twist. Take it through center. Remember, we're not looking for the perfectly straight leg. I mean, if you're here and your knee's bent, that's okay. You're using a little bit of core strength. We just want to start a slow process of opening. Let's bend the knee, turning the knee out. Take a deep breath. Stretch down. Remember, find what works for you without tensing and rounding the shoulders. Can you lengthen? And where's your breath right now? Let's take some breaths together. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out of the mouth. One more time. Slow breath in. And out. Open. And then take it around and maybe open this way. Come back through center. Take a deep breath. And then release. All right, so I'm going to just turn to face front. Take my blanket with me, sitting on it. So you can place the feet together this way if you're not comfortable crossing your knees or your ankles, or you can sit this way. I like to sit this way. It's nice on my hips. So let's just take a twist around to the left right now. Drop the shoulders. I'm going to show you a great shoulder stretch. So right now we're holding on with our right hand to our knee. Let's take our arm on top, breathing in and bind the arms together. Take the shoulders down. So I like this one. If you can't quite bind the arms together, what about bringing them together this way, or even just lacing your fingers? But this feels really good on the shoulders. Good. And then unwind, go the other way. So just do the opposite side. Find your breath, really important to move it through the belly. Important for your organs. And then overlap. Vine again. This is another great one I love to do almost every day for my shoulders because I know that my tension is in and around my shoulder girdle. Let the breath continue to flow. And then release. Good. All right, let's just finish up a little movement of our spine. Just think about your spine. It has a stem, right? So your pelvis is the pelvic bowl. So that stem swirling around the spine. Just imagine a pot of soup. And you have the wooden spoon and you're kind of scraping around the edges to get right to that center. And then let's go the other way. And this is nice too, to move around through the shoulders as well. So just keeping everything loose and relaxed. So you've observed in this more grounding yoga that we really did everything without standing up. So I'm calling this part one because it's a nice way to build your practice. It's a nice way for you to remember, part one of that series was when we really didn't have to stand up. And there might be days where you don't want to stand up in your practice. You need something more grounding. Maybe you just came from a really strong run or a high intense cardio class. So your body just needs to stretch to feel better. So this might be perfect for you. So stick around because part two will be coming up, or enjoy part one for a few more times and then jump into part two when you're ready. Thank you so much for joining me. Take a few moments just to sit and breathe quietly. Until the next time we're together, I'm Susan Rubenstein, and I've enjoyed having you on my journey into yoga.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.